Amongst American Jews, interest in the land of Israel is diminishing. I recently heard a sermon from the rabbi of the largest conservative synagogue in New York City, in which he bluntly shared this fact in public. A few days ago, there was a pro-Israel rally planned in downtown Manhattan. When asked if he would attend the rally, he paused and couldn't give a definitive answer, which had him thinking, why? Why, when called upon to show up and bring his congregation to a pro-Israel rally, would he not immediately say, yes, of course we will be there? When speaking to his colleagues, they also seemed indecisive. Some said they weren't sure about attending because it wouldn't be pro-Palestinian enough. Some said they weren't sure they would attend because it's best to lobby Congress and not to rally at all. And some said they needed more time to decide as they were afraid it would be too pro-Palestinian. But then the rabbi realized that the true reason behind all of these communal Jewish leaders' hesitation to attend the pro-Israel rally was something else completely. It wasn't really about lobbying versus rallying, or how much of a platform to give Palestinian representation. The truth was that he hedged out of fear. Fear of saying, yes, our congregation will be there, but then no one from the community actually showing up to the rally on Sunday. Sadly, this is a growing reality. Americans, especially younger Jews, care less and less about the land of Israel. And so the question is why? Why is there a growing sentiment among us to separate us from them? We, the Jews in America, are not them, the Jews in Israel. We, the Jews in America, have nothing to do with the land of Israel. The truth is that the concept of Jews distancing themselves from our promised land is nothing new. In this week's Parsha Shlach, we read about the Meraglim, the spies. As we, the Jews, are about ready to make our move from the desert to conquer our homeland, we ask Moses if it's okay to send spies to the land to see what it is that we are getting into. In the end, Moshe agrees and sends 12 spies who scout the land for 40 days. When they return to the Jewish people, 10 of the 12 spies give a most twisted report of the land. They explain to their fellow brothers and sisters how difficult the land will be to conquer. The people there are mighty giants. There are so many of them. It's going to be so difficult. The land itself is strangely dangerous. It's a terrible idea to get involved with this land, they said. And for every claim they made against the land, they brought proof to back it up. Like good propagandists, they twisted the truth to fit their agenda. The truth was the massive fruits were a blessing from God, not a sign of a cursed land. The many funerals they saw were a blessing from God so they wouldn't be discovered, not a sign of a cursed and dangerous land. And the same was true for every other claim they made. The ideas, the pictures, the props they brought back with them were all true, but instead of using them to tell the true story of the land, they used it as evil propaganda against the land. And just like that, they rallied most of the Jewish men to protest and demand that we not make a move to conquer the land that God has promised us. Only 2 of the 12 spies, Yoshua and Kalev, would push back and call out the lies. But they were outnumbered in the court of public opinion. It was 5-1, and the majority of the Jewish community sided with the majority of the spies. Of course, this was a grave sin and a terrible stain on our history, which resulted in the Jewish people remaining in the desert for 40 years. God promised that all the men of that generation would die in the desert, and only the next generation of Jews merited to live in our promised Holy Land. Perhaps we can see the correlation between then and now. Standing up for the Jewish rights in our promised land has always necessitated stepping out of our comfort zone and uncomfortably having to disagree with many of our friends and neighbors. Unfortunately, 10 of the 12 spies were not interested in such an exercise. Life in the desert with the manna from heaven and water from Miriam's well was so much more convenient. Plenty of time to engage in holy pursuits. No fighting, no need to defend yourself, no need to work the land, no need to get a job to provide for my family. Dealing with Israel was just a headache they'd rather not have to deal with. In my opinion, we are seeing similar messages today. Jews living in the comforts of this blessed country are not interested in our promised land. It means getting involved in too many uncomfortable situations. It means walking into an arena of public opinion in which we are massively outnumbered and having to push back against the lies. It's just too much. I'd rather stay home and watch TV, go to a concert, or go out to eat with my friends. Or for most of today's youth, sadly, just to stay home and play video games. We must learn from our mistakes. If Hashem promised us the land, we need not question how it's possible. If we see in a place of lies there is a need for some truth, then we must not question how will I be successful if I'm outnumbered. As the Rebbe once said, even in a hall of perfect darkness, if you light one small candle, its precious light will be seen from afar by everyone. Our mission is to light a candle of truth for the Jewish people, even when it makes us a little uncomfortable. I wish you a meaningful Shabbos.